That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about the Fantastic Four First Steps. It's not really the first steps. This is the 37th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the second reboot of this particular extension of all of that, and the second film directed by Matt Shakman. Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures is releasing it July 25th, 2025.
What is this director's first film?
He's done a lot of television since the early 2000s. His first film was called Cut Bank from 2014, which featured, I think, John Malkovich.
What is this film about? The Fantastic Four, already established heroes in a retro-futuristic 1960s world, must protect Earth from Galactus and his Herald, Silver Surfer, while coping with impending parenthood and family tensions. What is your pull quote?
My. Third time's the charm for casting of the Fantastic Four, the latest reboot riding higher than its predecessors thanks to its leads and an impressive production design, allowing at least enough pleasure to ignore the predetermined outcome of yet another notch in Marvel's episodic merry-go-round.
Mine. Despite the story feeling like a series of episodes stitched together to feature length, Fantastic Four brims with style and personality, confidently steering us towards its inevitable conclusion.
Yep, y'all know what's gonna happen.
I did enjoy this movie.
Enough.
But the premise I read, I mean, of course they protect Earth from Galactus, the end.
Yes.
I mean, that's... I don't know anything about the Fantastic Four. I don't think I've seen any of these movies. I didn't even know... When we left the movie, I said, oh, that character looks like a Silver Surfer. And you're like, that is the Silver Surfer.
That is where you
Because they never say the name.
No, but they talk about the surfboard that she's on. So actually, it was 25 years ago that Tim Story first had his first Fantastic Four film with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba. And then, of course, he had the 2007 sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer. And then there was the doomed reboot by Josh Trank in 2015, which I guess, was troubled this, that, and every other way, including the reception at the box by critics in the box office. So I think that this one had everything going for it and maybe having lower expectations, perhaps.
This film gives us a little bit of the backstory of the Fantastic Four. We're told that they are 4 astronauts who went out to space and encountered some sort of cosmic incident.
Yeah.
And so when they came back, their DNA was altered, and now they have superhuman powers. And it's Pedro Pascal as a stretchy man.
Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
And Vanessa Kirby as a lady who can...
She's the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm.
And she's the wife of Pedro Pascal.
Yep.
And Joseph Quinn can light himself on fire.
Yes, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch.
And he's the brother of Vanessa Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this man who looks like a big rock.
Ebon Moss-Bachrach is playing Ben Grimm, who becomes the Thing.
And he's the best friend of Pedro Pascal. So how fortuitous that they all got to go up to space together.
The opening when the narration, we're getting footage prior to them being shot up into space. Pedro Pascal is talking about, I collected the brightest minds around, and they all happen to be related to
They're
me.
all my peoples, but okay.
I bet you didn't do interviews for this.
Yeah,
Okay.
but...
Nepotism.
So then we're told that, but then we're told it's been 4 years since they came back, and basically they protect or keep order on Earth, because we see that there's sort of this like NATO type situation where almost every country, we see one that there's no one in the chair, but every country on Earth has decided that they're going to get rid of their armies because we have peace thanks to the Fantastic Four. So everything's great. When one day Julia Garner pops up talking about, what does she say? Because I thought it was... So I think she's my favorite character.
She is by far my favorite part. Plus the styling, everything about her. And I didn't look at the cast or anything before seeing this. I'm like, oh, that's Julie Garner. Julie Garner, fierce.
But she says your planet is marked for death. So y'all might want to, say your last goodbyes.
Isn't it on Halloween as well? It's like, enjoy your time, stupid people, bye. But it's like, why did they send this? Why does he send this emissary ahead of time? Is there some rule book that states that he must? Because if I was Galactus, I would have just come by and go munch, munch, munch.
And he is Galactus, so Julia Garner works for Galactus,
yes,
who's voiced by
Ralph Ineson, who's also kind of styled like that actor as well. But you should remember him as the daddy from The Witch, among many other things. But.
So of course Earth is like scared, and what is the Fantastic Four going to do? And they say, well, we're going to go find Julia Garner and ask her, how can we stop this?
We're going to go have a chat.
So they go find her in a different galaxy, and she's like, you shouldn't have come here, but if y'all want to meet Galactus, here he is. And I thought Galactus looked really cool.
Mm-hmm. And he's giving me a little bit of like Tim Curry from Legend.
He says, I'm hungry, so I just eat worlds. I can't help it. But he can sense Vanessa Kirby is pregnant. Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh, I won't devour Earth if you let me eat your baby. Because your baby has, like, power stronger than yours.
It's like Stephen King's Firestarter.
And then he tells these people, I will spare your planet, billions of people, and if I eat your baby, my hunger will be satisfied and I will stop devouring worlds. So, I thought it was kind of crazy. Like, give the baby up because it would save a lot of people. No. But of course, Vanessa Kirby does not want to give up her baby. So they go back to Earth.
Basically to be Ozempic for Galactus.
And I thought the craziest part of this movie was there's a press conference when the Fantastic Four get back on Earth. And of course, the reporters are like, well, how did you defeat Galactus? Well, we didn't. Well, what happened? Well, he wanted to make a bargain and we said no. Well, what was the deal? Well, he said he would spare Earth if we gave him our baby. But of course we said no. And the entire world hates the Fantastic Four.
Well, yeah, it's like, that's not too smart of...
Why did you say that?
Mr. Fantastic, who might be kind of an imbecile when it comes to the press. And also they have Sarah Niles, who we've seen in 2 other features this year, including F1 and Heads of State. Apparently, her character is the CEO of the Future Foundation. They have her running around here straight up like any old...
I thought she was like the secretary.
Right.
But anyway, these dummies are like, well, we have to figure out an alternative. So they come up with the bright idea because we had seen earlier in the film that Pedro Pascal had invented this thing that can teleport stuff. Like we see him teleport an egg from one side of the table to the other.
Only an egg.
And he did the one egg and all the power in New York City went out. So he's like, I know, we can teleport Earth to an alternate galaxy where Galactus won't find us for 1,000,000 years.
Which, I had so many questions. Like, what about its relationship to the heat source? Like, all the people that are near the equator, are they going to need jackets now and shit? Like, what's going to happen?
Well, they do say there's with 2% variances to like a similar whatever. But then I kind of thought an emotional part of the movie was the entire world bands together and builds the components necessary to basically replicate whatever he did with that egg.
In record time. Vanessa Kirby getting in front of the press and asking for all these resources was giving me Dagny Taggart from Atlas Shrugged, but yeah.
But at the 11th hour, Pedro Pascal's like, oh, wait, it didn't occur to me that this is going to require a lot of energy, like more energy than we have. So then we get this moment where the Earth has to go on electricity curfew. I thought that was kind of silly.
Well, and then any person should be like, this is a rush job. What else didn't you think about in time because you are moving too fast to accomplish this?
So then they see Galactus coming and they're ready to transport the planet.
To event horizon themselves to hell.
And they're literally like, let's go. And all the things are popping up. And then all of a sudden they're being torn down. And we see this Julia Garner tearing everything up. Mm-hmm. So they have to come up with an alternate plan, and their plan is to lure Galactus out of his ship down to New York City where there's one teletransporter left, and they'll just teleport his ass to Mars or whatever. How are they going to lure him? That damn baby.
Whose name is Franklin.
Franklin. He's a cute little CGI baby. And this is like the hour mark.
Over. I think.
Well, it's the hour mark when Julia Garner tears everything up. So then the final 45 minutes is trying to get Galactus to step into this thing, but then he realizes it's a trap because they are too quick to remove the baby. And then, of course, Vanessa Kirby uses her power to almost successfully push Galactus into this teletransporter. And then all of a sudden, Julia Garner pops out of nowhere.
Who has been guilted into remembering her roots.
Which we'll get to. Mm-hmm. But I thought, like, where has she been? But she actually saves the day. She pushes that thing into the wormhole or whatever. And I guess all's well that ends well, except that Vanessa Kirby has died because she overexerted herself. But this is where her baby's, like, extra special powers come in, because the baby revives her.
That baby snatches her back like, you're not going anywhere. Which would scare me if I was that parent.
Well, yeah, because as that baby gets older, if it gets mad, like, you can't ground that baby.
Well, it's like I can't
or
even...
that child.
I can't even unalive myself because that baby's going to bring me back.
Then there's a mid-credit scene 4 years later, and Dr. Doom is, like, talking to the kid.
You just see his mask.
Yeah, but I guess that I didn't recognize this person. I had to look it up, but it's Dr. Doom.
Who's going to be portrayed by Robert Downey Jr.
And then the post-credit scene is like an animated, like, retro intro featuring the Fantastic Four. Yeah, I did like this movie.
Yeah, it was pleasant enough. I mean, there were things I was shaking my head at, but not in the way that I was like, I can't believe that I'm, sitting here watching this. Because it presents this ethical dilemma of sorts that we both have probably stronger opinions on than most people. But
well, I think this whole, like, give up the baby and, like, save worlds, or, I mean, this baby wasn't even born yet. But I don't want to get into a controversial statement about it. It just seems like a very heavy thing to introduce into a comic book movie that, like, it's not going to actually...
Well, I think a lot of those older comics were introducing things like that these films are much more tame in approaching today. But I think it's interesting that, Vanessa Kirby, what's her name? Sue, is not entertaining that at all. But it's interesting how they're kind of skirting around that. She goes outside with the child because there's this angry mob outside of the, glass tower that they are looking down at the world from, and gives this rousing speech that sounded a bit like propaganda to me. I
liked the Fantastic Four okay, but I preferred the villains.
Yes.
And there's a character called Mole Man.
Oh, Paul Walter Hauser, he's introduced early on through a newspaper headline clipping, and then we don't really come back to him. He feels like something integral was kind of cut out.
He kind of saves the day as related to the plan to lure Galactus into this wormhole machine thing, because the Fantastic Four realize that when the Galactus comes down, he's going to tear up the city. Mm-hmm. So where are these people going to go? Well, the Mole Man runs Subterranea, which is, like, I guess, a city under the city. So he's convinced, which doesn't take much convincing because he appears to have a crush on Vanessa Kirby. Uh-huh. But I really liked Mole Man. I kind of wish this film were more like Batman Returns, where it's more about the villains.
Sure, yes.
Because I thought that those three, and Mole Man's not really a villain, but I found, like, I wish we had more of Mole Man.
He is an antagonist to the Fantastic Four, or presented as such. Yeah, but it's just like he pops up kind of as a convenience. And then it also made me wonder, because... well, the world's going to get eaten, but only New York. Like, does everybody else, at least even in the U.S., like,
Considering things that felt kind of tacked on or cut off, Natasha Lyonne's in the movie as this, like, school teacher.
Rachel.
And she seems to kind of have eyes for the Rockman. But...
chafing.
Speaking of eyes... I don't know where Natasha Lyonne was looking as they were filming her, but it's not at the Rockman's eyes.
It's only in that one scene where she's...
No, at the end, when he goes to say bye to her before, like, the world could end, she also is kind of looking, like, not at him.
Where's Natasha? I said, look over here. I love her to no end, and she's always a bright little spot. She has, really nothing to do, but...
I thought Herbert the robot was really cute.
Kirby, he's not fully loaded per se, but yeah.
Because he talks, but, like, it's unintelligible. I thought it was really cute.
Voiced by Matthew Wood.
Another plot point that felt a little sort of rushed was that it appears that Joseph Quinn's character is underestimated. So he tries to find like something that he can do. And he had heard Julia Garner say something in a language he didn't understand. And then he recognized it from some recordings they had.
Of transmissions that they pick up on that are recorded from the universe.
And he recognized, like, he's like, I know I've heard this before. And he starts studying it. And then he actually seems to have a crush on Julia Garner and asks her, when you said that shit to me earlier, what does it mean? And she says, it meant die with yours. So then he takes that translation and is able to sort of translate or extrapolate into translating all these recordings. And then we get a scene where he's basically playing Julia Garner, her history in her language. And we learn that she was in a similar situation on her planet. Galactus came and said, I'll spare your planet if you become my minion. And so he's helped her destroy all these worlds.
But I also wanted to know what was special about her to even be offered that role.
Well, and then I was a little confused because when they first go to find her, she tells them, y'all shouldn't have come here. And then when Galactus tells Vanessa Kirby, I'll spare your world for your baby, and then I'll be stopped, and then your baby will assume the role of like this powerful being. Julia Garner, the Silver Surfer, looks pressed. So I was expecting her to maybe like help the Fantastic Four, which I guess in the very end she does.
Well, because through most of the film, I'm assuming she's much like Renfield to Dracula, where she's desiring to have Master's powers and doing all of his bidding, and she enjoys doing it.
But then I guess I'm confused. Like, if her world was spared, then I would think maybe she'd want to go back there. Although I'm assuming like eons have passed, and so maybe everyone she knew is gone. But it seems like she would be down to stop him. But so then when she comes back at the very end, I found that kind of jarring. Like, you want to help now?
Well, she was, you asked where she was. I don't know, lurking and surfing around somewhere. I think the surfboard apparatus looks ridiculous, but again, it's a testament to, I think, how ethereal and evil that she looks, that made me actually want more of something that I would have constantly rejected as I have in the previous
Well, I don't
film.
think it looks like a surfboard. I think it looks like a hover. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it looks alien. It doesn't look like, Point Break. But, so I wrote down, people are so fake because the world is hating. We get a couple scenes where like, I think it's Vanessa Kirby and the Rock Man are like walking around and people are like yelling at them.
We have families
like,
too.
y'all ain't shit for not saving us. But then when they finally save the day and they're on, like they're about to be on like this, I think it's called the Ted Kirby show or something, which I thought was kind of cute.
It was cute. That man's done his hair way too dark.
But all the people are cheering for them. And it's like, you people are so fake because not like 2 weeks ago, y'all were...
Y'all are trash. That's why I was thinking I'd love to see the Ayn Rand version of the Fantastic Four where they decide to let Earth just shrivel and perish because of their attitudes towards them as soon as something was inconvenient.
Lastly, the final scene before the credits start to roll is actually the Fantastic Four leaving the Ted Kirby show to go, because they get an alert like that they're needed. But now they have this baby. So they have to install the car seat. And anyone who's ever tried to install a car seat knows it is so complicated.
It is.
So it was kind of cute because the three men are like having a hard time while Vanessa Kirby's just holding her baby laughing. And a lot of people in the audience were laughing. So I thought that was a cute scene.
I guess we'll never have convenient car seats that strap into the car. But yeah, if you're ever to do that, that is absolutely wretched. Something I missed because I'm unfamiliar what these people look like. There was a 1994 film of the Fantastic Four that was never released. And apparently those four actors are in a cameo towards the end.
Oh.
I mean, I just wouldn't have noticed that because I'm ignorant about it.
Interesting. What else would you say about this film?
I think the script tries to be more intelligent than it ultimately seems because there's all these Archimedes levers theory, which made me want, since it's in a parallel, or this is Earth 828, I wanted a musical artist that's similar to Avicii that has a song called Levers. That's what I was thinking about. But I don't know if all of that actually coalesces with where they get their levers to defeat Galactus. I don't even know if we need all of that.
I didn't mention, lastly, that the mid-credit scene, when it's done, like we see what I think is Doctor Doom, it says the Fantastic Four will reappear in Avengers Doomsday, or will be featured in Avengers Doomsday.
Yep, so don't worry, they'll all come back.
What would you give the Fantastic Four?
I guess I would much rather see something in this vein from this universe. So this is definitely one of the better films out of all of that. So I'll give it a 3.
I liked it. I would give it like 3.25 if I could, but I guess I'll give it 3 out of 5. Join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.